How open are you to people walking in your door and bringing in an idea?
My door's always open, unless I'm on the phone, because I talk really loud. So I'll shut my door if I'm on the phone. I mean, and if I need to do that strategic time of focusing on the company, I won't do it in the office because I don't like my door to be shut, unless I'm meeting with somebody or I'm on the phone. But I'll go around and I'll open it back up again. So I think that I'm pretty open. I would hope that the staff would tell you the same thing, that I do listen. I like to take. I'm kind of like a sponge. I take a lot in, and then I like to kind of filter it and then move out with various ideas or various ways of thinking and doing things. People ask me all the time, who was your mentor? Who was your one? And I was like, so many people. I took in so much from people over the years that it wasn't just one person.
I like that. So your mentor was many people, not one person.
Right.
I find that women, especially because we're verbal by nature and it's the way we're inherently built, we will take an idea and we will talk about it. As my husband calls it, it's the dead horse that lives in our closet. And he gets this look on his face like, ugh, I know that. Ugh. Yep. But I can go to my girlfriends, and it's not that I want anybody to provide the solution. It's when we verbally get it out there and we hear it and we go, that didn't sound right, or that sounded brilliant, or oh, but if we tweak it this way, it's that. And I think that's what women, like to do. And that's great advice to any guys watching this. Don't give advice. All women want to do is just hear themselves talk. And I know that's true.
Right.
Because I know you go like this, uh-huh. But I think it's really true. What about your conversations with your husband? Is it like that?
Well, while you were saying that, I was thinking of my son, who tried community college when he first got out of school, dropped out. And so, we were like, okay, well, you're getting a full-time job, you're doing this, you're doing that. Well, every opportunity I had, I talked about the importance of education, and my husband would sit there at dinner and roll his eyes. Here she goes again. But I'm happy to report that he is enrolled full-time at the Art Institute of Washington, just started school this week. So excellent. I think all of that socializing and communicating has an impact.
Yeah,
it really does.
It really does. It really does.
But my husband does roll his eyes when I get on a roll.
What is success to you? What does it mean to you?
Many things. It's about it's knowing that we have an impact on our clients and our government. That is success for me at Silo Smashers. Knowing that that I've impacted people's lives in terms of giving them a career and giving them a place to grow and shine and maybe do things that they never thought were possible for them. That's success for me.
I love it. I love it. And those are value-based. That's value-based. It's not financial. It's value-based.
Right.
Well, we have time for a few questions. I think we went a little bit long, but I just felt there was... No, that's not my fault. It's not your fault. That's not my fault. It's your fault. No, it's my fault, not yours.
I talk a lot.
So who has questions? So the question is, why do you think these government agencies are not capable of coming up with these ideas themselves or being more effective?
Yeah, well, there's a couple, but I think the one at the core is that they are not rewarded for trying new things and wanting to do something different. They're rewarded for the same old thing all the time. And I think that's difficult for them to bring things forward because they're not rewarded for it. And a lot of times they get stuck in saying, okay, well, I have another change of administration coming in. I'm just going to buy my time and just wait for the new priorities to come in. And so there's no real reward system for those people to try new things and kind of think outside of the box. And it's unfortunate. It really is.
It's probably risky to try new things.
It's very risky for them.
It'd probably be risky. I mean, in the government where, everything is status quo.
Right.
And maybe at times for good reason, but you don't think of the federal government as being a place for innovation.
Right.
It's like they have to reach out, and I think that by bringing everything back into the government, you're going to lose that hand, that opportunity to be innovative and make change happen.
It's interesting, though. I've seen some changes over the years. I've seen more innovation in government than I did when I first started with government. But I'm also seeing them more risk adverse as well at the same time on various things. For example, we used to be able to talk to a contracting officer, and they would say, oh, well, why don't you go talk to this person? They own the requirement. You won't get that today. They will not allow you in the door to talk to anybody. And so, one, they're not getting innovative ideas to take in and build in their requirements from industry folks. So it's very odd to see right now, but they want to be innovative. They want to go to the cloud. They want to be, in the social media. They want to do social networking, but then again, they're very risky, and they're not getting rewarded for it. I think that's really at the core. If they were rewarded for taking risks and doing new things, then we would see something different in government.
It sounds like what you're advocating is we need to create a place for community so that government agencies and leaders have a place to go safely to vet ideas, to hear ideas, and facilitate that. I don't know that we can make that happen. I don't know how you can, but certainly I know that, again, going back to Cindy Castillo, she has like these box lunches where people come in and just talk about ideas. It's just their constituent base. They're those people they're serving. Share ideas. What do you need? Let's reshape it, and that kind of thing. So I think that, and I think ideas are the core of what makes America so great.
That's great.
Judith, you had a question. So the question has to do, and we repeat this just to make sure we get it on the question. It's number one, how many employees do you have? And what, to paraphrase, what does your organizational chart look like, with the people that you have in your company?
We have about 85 full-time people, which might be shocking to some people because people think we're so much larger than what we are, which is great because we compete with the big boys out there every day. I just did a reorg just recently. I feel that what got us to 20 million is not going to get us to 50 million. We were a very matrixed organization where somebody might be hired by one vice president, but then they go to work on another project somewhere that might be in the line of another vice president. So we were very highly matrixed. That was not going to get us to 50 million. So I reorganized around business units. So I have 4 main business units that are client-facing. We target Department of Transportation, so it's transportation, Homeland Security, GSA, and EPA. Those are our main clients. So I have vice presidents that lead those business units. So they know and understand that client base, the people that get hired, they work for that client, and they work for that vice president. Sounds a little siloed, but we're not, right? And then I have a sales and marketing team that supports the business units in terms of generating sales and doing the right marketing. I have a human resources team, I have a finance team, and then I have a chief technology and quality officer that focuses on innovation and bringing new concepts and techniques and delivering quality services to our clients. So that's kind of what we look like. But we've gone through some change this year, and I think it was change that was needed. I think the employees were just kind of waiting for something like that, because when we rolled out the org chart, of course, I'm terrified. We had this big staff meeting, and I'm rolling out a new organization structure in December, and so many people afterwards came up and said, "This is great. I'm really excited about the change. I'm on board." I mean, it was, and then there was this buzz around the office for a couple days afterwards. I don't know if you guys remember, but people were really excited about the change. I couldn't believe it. So it was really good. You also asked about how we keep people. It's hard. This is a competitive environment around there, and people are constantly going into people that are already employed and want to hire them away. And we want to do the same thing. We want to find people that are gainfully employed because they're doing good things, not because they're out on the street, really looking for something. I mean, we do that. A lot of people have laid off recently, so you can get some good people. But it's real competitive out there. What we try to do is just build a culture that attracts and retains people. Our turnover rate is pretty low. We've had people that, Kim, how long have you been here? 7 years? 7 years. We have the first person I hired in '93 is still with us today. He actually tried to retire. He and his wife moved back to Arkansas. He called me one day and he said, "Angela, my wife and I are moving back. We can't stand Arkansas. It's so quiet here. We're moving back to Northern Virginia. Do you have anything?" I'll be moving back after the holidays. I said, actually, can you come up next week? I have a client that could use your, so we flew, back and forth between the time that, he called me and officially moved back up here. But we have a lot of people that may leave for some reason, and then they come back. On the 24th of this month, we have 2 people that are returning to Silo Smashers. They're both starting back on the same day. So it's exciting to see. And I think it has to do with us building an environment where people enjoy coming to work. Really, I say that all the time. Our culture is very unique. And people will tell me, you told me that during the interview, or, I heard about it, but I didn't really believe it until I got here. And I do believe that we're building something unique and special at Silo Smashers, and I think it's going to keep people for a long time.
And so we'll take one more question. Sydney. I think that is a stellar question, and one thing I often thought about, because you were a surprise to interview, knowing your background and where you came from. What happened to change, and just to paraphrase again just a little bit, is that what was the progression in your growth, and what were the things that or events or stellar moments that created shift thinking for you that you said, wait a minute, I am a CEO material, and I can build a $20 million, $50 million company.
I don't know if I have actually made that mental leap to say I am CEO material. I work on it every day. What are the things that I need to do to be the CEO that people want to follow? I mean, really, I think it's an evolving and it's a learning thing. And hopefully I'll get there someday. Maybe when I retire, I could look back and say, yeah, I guess I was on that day of retirement. But so for me, I'm constantly learning and changing and doing different things. When I first started the company, I just kind of launched off and said, well, if this doesn't work, I'll just go get a job somewhere. And that's what I thought about. And for the first couple years, that's what I thought, because I was doing the consulting and I was actually building the company at the same time. So you're not really shifting and thinking I'm CEO material. I think maybe the biggest shift was when we were getting towards a $15 million mark. I don't know what made me realize this, but I realized that everything I say and everything I do, people are hanging on to, and they're listening. So I have to be cautious and careful about everything I say, how I say it, and what I do with the company. And it always needs to be in line with where the company is going, what my strategy is, what my thought process is. That probably happened for me about 7 years ago, well, maybe about 6 years ago. And you asked what I read. I'm going to say occasionally, read business books, occasionally. When I go to read, I escape. That's my escape. So I'll read almost anything. I like a lot of historical fiction. Philippa Gregory is one of my favorites. I don't know if anybody reads historical fiction, but that's one of my favorites. I like the escape, and I need that. I think everybody does. When I'm reading a business book, I'm still on, because you're reading it to do better things for yourself. So I do it to escape. So hopefully someday I'll get there to say I am CEO material.
I think that is a great place to close, but I think I can tell you are CEO material.
Oh, thank you.
And I can't thank you enough for joining us today. This has been riveting, compelling, and we made it through in spite of the snow today.
Yes.
So it was a great opportunity to visit with you.
Thank you.
I thank you all for coming out and joining us today. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did.